Hi peeps. Flat Earth British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Welcome peeps. Welcome back to the great Flat Earth British think tank. This is going to be epic, by the way. Okay, this is Flatterday 10k day. So it's time for celebration. Okay, any excuse to celebrate. And I think 10k day, which only took 3.5 months to basically get a load of my old subscribers back from my hacked channel, which YouTube are mysteriously holding back. Keep it. And this epic new channel of ours, okay, which is going to be amazing this year. Hands up who wants to see the great Flat Earth British think tank do super fantastic things this year. Hands up. Yeah, all of you. I thought so. Well, that's what's going to happen. Okay, we're all going to be super fantastic together. Now the puzzle pieces are falling into place in rapid succession. It is accelerating and it is mind-blowing. Okay, the more I think about it, I'm overwhelmed with waves of bliss, buzz, and goose pimples. Constantly thinking about these subjects the deeper we go down the rabbit hole. Okay, now the narrative in this, guys, when you know stuff that you know from Flat Earth British think tank, things will become clear. Okay, and what I'm going to talk about in this post in a little while, okay, is the possibility, okay, which we talk about in Flat Earth British bookage, which is the holy grail of our flat earth, okay, which we're going to talk a little bit about later, okay, which is doing very well, okay, people are loving it, basically, is that natural disasters, earthquakes, if you like, tsunamis, such as San Francisco's earthquake or more recent giant tsunamis, are actually caused by men and not natural disasters, okay, if you can call them that, okay, or controller technology, as in fascist technology, the serpent, or a waveform that travels through this place, or a resonating machine like Tesla's earthquake machine, okay, or world technology that could cause these events. Now, what we're going to look into, you know, with what we've been looking into in the past, there is a certain MO, okay, that smacks you in the face, okay, so it's events, a certain type of architecture for an old world that is not supposed to be there, and if that old world still has some buildings left, and that city will have a fire, you know, it just, and in a lot of these cases the exposition, and that has a fire, not in every case, but there is a certain cycle to this reset system and how it is played out. The controllers have been doing this same game over and over again. Okay, they have the control mechanism, the matrix. They know this place, the holographic nature of this place works, and our intent. Okay, they play it against us, and they use it to great effect to keep everyone fast asleep snoozing, believing anything the mainstream and the television tells them a sanctum. No problemo. Okay, so we're going to look into that. We're going to look into the Titanic. Okay, now that should raise some questions and raise some interesting conversations in comments. Now I'm not going to go, although they would call us a conspiracy channel or what have you, we're going to look into aspects of that. I don't really want to go too much into the conspiracy aspect of it being the Olympic and insurance job hit by a torpedo, a German torpedo, but maybe an American torpedo and even British, whatever. We're going to look into some of the people that were on this ship, okay, some of the people that survived and some of the people were killed or died. Okay, very, very interesting crew, very, very interesting passenger list on the Titanic, and some of the most beautiful photographs I've come across in pristine colour of the Titanic and its interior, and it's mind-blowing. But take a look at that. 100 things besides. Now make sure to come back this week, because basically it's going to be very exciting. Okay, things are going to be like literally going to another level. Things are going to be overwhelmingly proved in the nature of the resets Okay, we have some incredible translations coming through. They are absolutely mind blowing. Okay, so that'll be this week, and plus other stuff that I'm working on. This is what we're going to be doing this week. It's going to be super fantastic. And coming up to the end of the month, there's other stuff going to be happening, which is also going to be super fantastic. So make sure to subscribe, not miss any of that super fantasticness and epicness, because you've got to be epic yourself. Got happy hats? Have you? Put your happy hat on. Okay, for a little while. Okay, now I had this sent through. Actually, today I'm spoiling. Okay, flat with British. Today I'm spoiling. Be waiting. This is my Martin Liedtke. As you muffle, Equidistant, flat with British, and some very lovely subscribers sent me this through the post. Well, thank you very, very much for that. Cwtches, their hugs in Wales. Okay, for that. And many. It's quite weighty. I think it's made of zinc. Cooler. So that's what I'm spoiling today. Get your happy hats ready. We're going to have a little bit of a happy thing going on today, because this is what we do on Flat with British. We don't let them fuckers get in our heads. Ever, guys. Ever. Yeah? The way I look at it is like it's a fight for survival, isn't it? You know, we are surviving in this place, and you know, we're at war. They're coming down on our ass constantly, you know, from the before we're born, you know. The Phoenician mechanism, the cycle has to be broken. Now, in my mind, okay, I think it's past the point of no return. That's the way I feel about things with the information, because the cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag about the controllers and natural events and taking out certain, what if you want to call it a golden era. It's a bit pretty hard to determine, but what I will call it is a Greco-Roman society. Okay, that's not supposed to be in America at such an early period. Okay, Star Forts, really early period, all in Port Royal in Jamaica, just outside Kingston. So we'll have a little look at that. If you don't know about it, I've posted about it before. It was mentioned this week by John Levy. I don't think he's seen it the last time on my video, and other people. And somebody sent me a link then for a really old book, which talks about Port Royal Jamaica, okay, which is a sunken city. They say the only sunken city in the northern hemisphere. I don't suppose they've been to Japan lately. Buckle in, and I'll make it as interesting as pos. Okay, loads of juice, loads of pics of the day, and a million thoughts besides. Please make sure to comment, subscribe, like whatever they do on YouTube here, etc. So if you don't know about it, it's really ridiculous to my mind why they would build the richest port on earth, the hub for the empire, after apparently the English Civil War. This is all like great architecture, and he put it on a sand spit. So knowing it's an earthquake zone, knowing that they could prone to tsunamis, and that it could basically vibrate, liquefy, which is what happened in this case, and fall into the sea, which is what happened. A lot of the city fell into the sea. So the problem is, I'm thinking, is why would they build such permanent, amazing structures and a star fort on a spit, a sand spit, when it's, you know, a wise man builds his house on stone, doesn't he? He doesn't build his house on sand. Sand washes away. So what is their thinking? Or is this the survivors, or a survivor city or world in America of post-flood world survived, and everything else is gone, and this is all that's left, which is why it's a sand spit? Who knows, guys? I'm just chucking it out there, but the fact still remains they've put this giant city. Look at this. Even at this stage with this old map, it's called Old Port Royal. How can it be so old, this period? It's just and Fort Charles. Okay, there's another amazing star fort down by here, Rupert's Fort. So it has star forts, and it's outside Kingston. Now, and I'll likely cover the narrative of Port Royal. We're going to look at some depictions, etc. But it is absolutely mind-blowing if you don't know already. Okay, I'm going to look at some amazing pics of this underwater city. So, just to summarize, if you don't know, Port Royal is a village, which is not, located at the end of Palados at the mouth of Kingston Harbour in the southeastern Jamaica. Founded in 1580 by the Spanish, and was once the largest city in the Caribbean. It was the largest city in America next to Boston, just before its event. Functioned as a centre of shipping and commerce in the Caribbean Sea. So it is a Phoenician hub, and it's one of the richest, wickedest cities on earth. By the latter half of the 17th century, it was destroyed by an earthquake on the 7th of June 1692, which was accompanied by a tsunami. Several hurricanes have regularly damaged it, and another severe earthquake occurred in 1907, which are many photos for, and it was absolute carnage. So let's have a look here. So this Port Royal, or an artist's depiction, and they have this giant tower thing going on, old world. There's a depiction, actually a description of this giant castle that they say is there. So it's here in Jamaica. Okay, Kingston is here, roughly 18 miles away, and here it is here. Okay, so why on earth? But there is some rather interesting information that I've learned that I never knew the last time I posted about this, in regard of the star forts, in regard of this was one of the best things to happen, apparently, because then they could impose this strict grid new system which they introduced all in, you know, Christendom, which is block systems, the street blocks, which is probably on an older network anyway, we are learning. But why would you put it all the way out here on a sand spit? Is nuts. I know they should do the same thing in Dubai today, and it's going along them lines, isn't it? So excuse me. So let's have a little look through, and there's the star fort. That's the end one, so it's quite big, and it's in that red brick again. Have a little look. So they're a nice star fort, and it was a hub for pirates, famous for pirates, and the remains of the naval hospital, built in 1818. And there's that picture again, old map, Port Royal. Right section at the top is going down towards the right part of the city lost in the earthquake. So this is all lost, and this is all that remains on the spit. Okay, and that was from 1785, and it was all Port Royal then. So that much disappeared. Isn't that interesting? Fort James is under. Okay. And there's another fortress on the spit. Ships at Port Royal 1820. Now, there was still a port there, and there was still quite a bit going on in 1820 apparently, but they had a fire and the rest burned down. The rest, the Giddy House, they suffered liquefaction and the ground vibrated and all the buildings sunk. The description is horrifying. It is mud flood. The graves literally all wandered or floated down the streets, floating. Same as what the narrative is around the same time for a place called Valparaiso, which had exactly the same event. And I'm going to show you now, guys, this highly possible this is controller technology with all of these events. So there you are, the earthquake at Port Royal Jamaica. Just about make out, I suppose, star footage there. Yeah, amazing, big star fort, and everything else is half sunk. Okay, now, excuse me, I've got a new pair of glasses coming because I am suffering with eye strain and getting headaches. Just trying to see through these terrible bifocal visionary things. They're terrible. Can't get on with them at all. So we've got new glasses coming, which will improve things greatly. Port Royal was a city on the sand spit in the harbour of Jamaica, in Kingston, Jamaica, and it was hit by an earthquake and tsunami, and the whole city sank into the ocean. We'll take a look at that now. It's mind-blowing. On the 7th of June, 1692, Port Royal Jamaica experienced a powerful earthquake and tsunami. Larger houses collapsed almost immediately, and smaller ones slid off the land into the harbour as widespread state liquefaction dislocated their sandy foundations. Before the end of the day, most of the city had disappeared beneath the waters of Kingston harbour. Most of those who were left standing in the midst of the destruction were swept into the sea by the tsunami. 2,000 were killed immediately, and in addition 2,000 died later from injuries and disease. The city's graveyard was a victim of the earthquake, so the survivors, they sought to recover some of their possessions, had to cope with the frightening scene. There were coffins and bodies from the graveyard floating along those who had just been killed. As they continued their search, they had to fight against a group of thieves that took advantage of the chaotic situation. Now, what they do say, guys, is this place is like the most expensive property you can imagine, only on par with London, and it looks like London for architecture at that period, and it's gone. Few people see in modern day Port Royal Jamaica a small isolated fishing village at the tip of a sand spit that extends to Kingston harbour for about 18 miles. So that sand spit's 18 miles long. Would ever think that it once played a major role in the politics of Caribbean and England. All the evidence now lies beneath the water of the Kingston harbour. All the evidence indeed. Port Royal is the only sunken city in the Western Hemisphere, founded soon after the conquest of the island of Jamaica by the Spanish, by an English invasion in 1655. So I guess that's the English Civil War. Port Royal went through a spectacular rise in wealth and influence. Just before the earthquake, it was the largest English town in the north, in the New World. So it was bigger than Boston, guys. Now, I'll just continue a little, and I want to tell you something. And the most affluent, every visitor was impressed with the multi-storied brick buildings, quite a contrast to other English colonial towns in the New World. It had a population of more than 7,000 and rivaled Boston in size and economic power, and only other cities comparable were comparable importance at the time. Now, what I'm going to show you in a minute is Boston has an earthquake, a giant earthquake, like an apocalyptic earthquake. Who knew? Massachusetts, this thing's massive. And the similarities between this event, giant earthquake, giant tsunami, happening twice in the other richest port on earth, Phoenician hub, Lisbon, in 1755, after these events. Now, the similarities of these being ports, taken out, certain architecture, and all like centres of commerce is too much to ignore. It's exactly the same MO repeated. Okay, guys? So anyway, it goes on to say about it's more or less like London, and it had a devastating fire. It's linked in with the Great Fire of London. So I'll leave you the narrative because I don't want to actually read all that, but I picked up on this here. Experiences of this type are often documented in other earthquakes. Similar events happened in San Francisco, Massachusetts in 1755, and more recently in New Orleans. So they're pulling similarities with this event and them. Okay, now it's apocalyptic. The whole thing was just apocalyptic. Everything just slid into the sea. It's just incredible. And they had further events, and then a later earthquake and a fire as well. This is another one telling you about the sin aspect of it, of what they say was the wickedest city on earth, when it was devastated by an earthquake in 1692. And it gives you some cool. But this is what they're saying about this grid system. But Kingston's rigid grid plan imposed order out of chaos. So there's some surmising. This is a Guardian article. Ugh, sorry. I don't want that. And there's the narrative. I'll link that to you. It's quite a good narrative. And this picture here is by Pierre van der Haar. Who knew? And there you are. So it's liquefaction. As you can see these churches today underneath there, and they're like old English churches, big. You know, how many stories we don't know, but they were saying in the narrative they were really high, brick, stone, temple types, or liquefying, or sinking in the mud, along with the people as well. So tsunami and liquefaction, it's just truly apocalyptic. And it happened there. And that's a sweet, sweet old map, which imposed this grid system of Kingston. Control. They say it was to aid the slave trade, etc., routes to plantation homes and stuff, but there had to be another grid, and they just put these things on there. This is Port Royal. Later on, you can see the complete replacement of this really cool architecture to something more rural. And there it is from the air. Kingston, Jamaica, and there it is. All the way out there. Why would they do that? And there's the grid for Kingston following the event, and it's just the blocks and all these mud flood buildings as well. Look at these huge buildings. There is a book you can get called The Architecture of Kingston, Jamaica. It was like $17 or something. It was crazy expensive. But it shows you all like Greco-Roman architecture and stuff in Jamaica in the past, and it's just not there anymore. So here's another one. Found this. This was handed to me in the week. Now I just want to say, right, this got sent to me. I'll talk about it a lot later. By Albino Gallopini. Okay, who I talk about. I showed you his really fantastic website, and he's an author, and he's in Italy. And he's just done a biography of Bill Casing, who was basically a whistleblower, a guy who came out about the NASA hoax, okay, or the Apollo missions hoax, or all of it hoax. And it's mind-blowing. We'll have a little look at that later, just talk about that. So this book, sorry to segue back, is concerning Jamaica and the Americas, and it's from, excuse me, I-672. Okay, so the city is in situ at this time. Okay, and it goes to all of these Caribbean islands, Barbados, Antigua, St. Vincent, etc. And it gives you descriptions. So we get to page 30 and tells you all about Port Royal and what they've seen just before. There. So Port Royal formerly was called Kagway, situated on the extreme edge of a long point of land that makes up the harbour, which has exceeding commodities for shipping and secured by one of the strongest and most considerable castles that the Majesty hath in all of America. So this is one massive star fort system. It's the biggest. They say, I'm sure the castles is a star fort. They are mounted about 60 pieces of ordnance, as well as guarded with soldiers, and it's landlocked by the point of land that runs 12 miles southeast to the mainland. Okay, maybe that's why it's on the spit, so it can be landlocked. I don't know. This is interesting. Having the great river that runs by Los Angeles, it's almost like Los Angeles, and San Fago falling into where ships do commodity. Water, and conventionally wood, the harbour is 2 or 3 leagues crossed in most places, and half everywhere good anchorage, which is deep for a ship of 1,000 tons. So it has a deep anchorage. Okay, so it says a little bit more, but that's interesting to say about, you know, a massive castle, the biggest there in North America at this time. So it's not to be overlooked. Kingston, Jamaica. Okay, I'll link that up to you. Sorry to whiz through, but this cannot be long tonight. And its buildings, etc. Okay. Now we move on. Now, A few years after this, exactly the same MO, 1755. Okay, not too much of a jump. I've covered it recently. Is the Lisbon event. Okay, these events, in my mind, are deliberate. They start with booming. The witness statements are always booming, like loud artillery. Things start to shake. Earthquake happens, and not in every case, because it didn't happen in San Francisco for some reason. A tsunami. Okay. Now, what I want to show you is this event of 1755. Right, was apocalyptic, and it happened on the 1st of November. All Saints Day. So a massive apocalyptic event, right, which is in history happening in 1755 on the 1st of November on All Saints Day. On the other side of the Atlantic, roughly the same latitude, not really sure, for Boston, there was a massive event, 1755, the Cape Ann earthquake. Okay. It was off the coast of Boston in Massachusetts. It was a biggie. It killed thousands, caused billions in damage. It's just incredible to think. So what was the date? It was on the 18th of November, 1755. So 17 days apart. And there's a similar event taking out two of the richest ports in the northern hemisphere. 18 days apart. Same MO. And it was massive. It was everywhere. It was apparently affected on this east coast, according to this narrative. Okay. Loads of Boston was destroyed. There you are. 1,300 or 1,600 chimneys in the city were damaged. Blah blah blah. So not a very big picture. 18th century woodcut taken from a religious tract showing the effects of Cape Ann earthquake. So more liquefaction. And there's modern day Boston. So it was taken out in 1755 by a giant earthquake. Anybody aware of that? Didn't even know that part of the world was even affected by earthquakes. Did you? Floods. Now, not to be alarmist, okay, but in my mind, okay, floods are a reality, okay. Now, I've spent years in the merchant navy. I know the oceans are unimaginably big, okay, and we're on little land masses. In my case, tiny little island, okay. This is a flood map, a projection, okay, obviously on a Mercator, of what land would be left. I'm sorry, what is the elevation of water? I think it's something like if this happened, okay. So if that happened, okay, and what that's not even a mile high, is it? You know, it's a few 100 feet high, so it's not even, you know, what can be, okay. 400 meter rise in sea level, and you're looking at well, most of Russia would be underwater, except for the what looks like the Urals, quite a bit of Europe there, Turkey, half of Saudi's gone, Egypt's under, a lot of the Sahara here, West Africa's under. For some reason, South Africa seems to be absolutely stonking. Not on that side though. Okay. What about America? Oh, Brazil. Amazon's gone. And right the way up to the New Madrid fault line. Okay. Now remember, I'm a flat earther. I don't go with plate tectonics at all. Okay. I think these maps change, but like I don't think the reality is that way. Okay. At all. So yeah, all flooded all the way up to the New Madrid fault line. Who knew? So all of that underwater. 400 meters, that's the projection. Let's have a look there. Excuse me. All of Canada. As far as here. So this bit they're saying is okay. California as well. Isn't that weird? Maybe that's what the fires are for, clean it up, who knows. And Australia as well. which they had rain apparently, didn't they? So apparently it's got a little bit better. No, part two. You drink. Happy Flatterday, by the way. Happy 10k day to everybody. Now we will have a little appearance from Mr. King, King Thumb, and his wife Queen Thumb, Lizzie Queen Thumb, who's got a bit of an attitude, but she's Queen Thumb. So we're going to have an appearance from them shortly. Now we're going to talk about the Titanic. Now I'm just going to briefly talk about this. I don't really want to talk about this. It's the theory of switching it with the Olympic and the Olympic's anomalous story and the mummy. But I want to look into the people who are on it more. Okay. So no event of any significance in the world takes place without generating a flutter of conspiracy, speculation, and the sinking of the Titanic, perhaps the most iconic ship in history, with a tragic story known worldwide. Okay, now what they're saying is it never hit an iceberg, and it was a German torpedo. I don't think a German torpedo. I think it was more likely to be somebody else's torpedo. It's easy to blame the Germans, you know, for nice false flags bringing to war like they did with Lusitania, which they did with the Lusitania to bring them into the First World War, etc. But supporters of this theory pointed to several survivors who heard explosions after the ship began to sink. Others believe that the presence of a cursed ancient Egyptian priestess mummy named Amun-Ra caused the ship to collide with the iceberg and sink. Now, they had no binoculars because they were locked in the binocular cupboard and they lost the key. And they didn't bother breaking it open, so they only had one set of binoculars. There's a photograph of them binoculars. So they don't want anyone to spot a iceberg, which is apparently that far south in the North Atlantic, by the way. Okay, you know, on the way to New York. No, maybe they do. Maybe they don't, but in my mind, no. Big ship like that in a fucking... No, there would have been someone on the bridge. Anyway. So yeah, according to folklore, the artifact, which has acquired the popular nickname of the Unlucky Mummy, was brought nothing but misfortune to those who came in contact with it at the British Museum. So yeah, that's the narrative, guys, is they are almost identical. Okay, now this had a giant gash in it, this Olympic, which could have been a Titanic or even a third ship, who knows. Why build one when you can build three? The Olympic was damaged in 1911 when it collided with the HMS Hawke, although in the narrative they say this is double plated and the ship is designed to ram any ship. Why they would put that sort of tech into the ship, who knows? The compartments to stop flooding so it don't sink. Yeah, the Titanic was definitely going to sink. Okay, so there's a video in this link as well if you are interested. I'm more interested in the peeps, as I said. So these are the only differences between the Titanic and the Olympic, is the number of windows here. You see, there's gaps, and they're all in line there, and there's a few differences here on the windows as well. Okay, and a little bit there on the upper deck, not much. So they're virtually identical, except for the inners, I suppose. We'll have a little look at some photographs in a minute, guys, of... Oh, Titanic's propeller was found at the shipwreck. So they always send a Freemason down. So they send John Carpenter. No, it's kind of a John Carpenter, because he's got a thing about going down like a mile in a little bubble to have a look at this ship. Okay, so yeah, the Telegraph just got like sort of the first wireless Marconi transmission only a little while before this, and it was the first ever use of wireless to do a rescue, and the ship is local. But the first ship boat that turns up with survivors only got 25 people in it. This boat here, they take a photograph, the boat holds 60 people. They're all elites, and they locked a lot of the elites below ground level, though, and a lot of the poor people. So this narrative is 12 famous people who died on the Titanic, and 11 have survived. Some very interesting people on this ship. Could they have sunk it for that rather than just the war narrative? Who knows? Built as an unsinkable ship. It hit an iceberg, or so they say. Okay. Over 1,500 people died in the maritime disaster, while 705 individuals survived. The number of victims and survivors of famous people. So let's have a little look at Mal. He's got a house on 5th Avenue, or his family, Mary, has, and the Astor house is amazing mud flooder, and the millionaire and oligarch John Jacob Astor, he dies. Incredibly interesting, I thought, is he helped build, apparently, the Waldorf Astoria. If you don't know about that, it's a mind-blowing mud flood, massive Titanic hotel like the others, and they knock it down in the past, apparently no other reason than they need its footprint to build the Empire State Building in its footprint. So that is gone, and the Empire State Building's in its footprint. Really weird, but it must be something to do with the energies. Who knows? Who knows? So Archibald Grace, the fourth historian and author. So what was he into? American Civil War battles in Chickamauga. So that's interesting. Okay, psyops. And W.T. Steed, he's an investigative journalist. Okay, more interesting. What was he looking into? That is interesting. He was a devout spiritualist. Okay. And he established a magazine dedicated to the supernatural and psychic service, known as the Julia's Bureau. Oh, he also penned a fiction story in 1869 that bore an unsettling resemblance to the real-life events of the sinking of the Titanic, of the Titanic. How the mail steamer went down in the mid-Atlantic by a survivor. So he writes a book and it like literally happens, more or less. Isn't that an interesting name? Noelle Leslie, Countess and Philanthropist. She was nice looking, but an elite, and she died, did she? Survived. She survived. So she survived. Died Thomas Andrews, an architect of the Titanic. That's the one. He said this is going to definitely sink. He was a mathematician. You may have seen him on a film. Have you seen the film Titanic in the movies? I went to the cinema to see it. God, it was awful. The film was like 2.5 hours long. It was 4.5 hours before they got out of there, guys. They let the women and children out first. It's just terrible. So, what's this dramatic hat? Anyway, so yeah, Margaret Brown, she survived. She was a socialite. Okay, so the unsinkable Molly Brown. So basically, that's Kathy Bates in the movie. She sings you a song, keeps you happy. The jolly gobby one with, you know, Tenko spirit. So who's he? John Thayer, railroad executive. He died. Okay, so a railroad exec, a survivor of the White Star Line executive survived. Yeah, because you knew what was going to happen, didn't you? You probably were standing there doing your nails, waiting for the boats to go before it even got hit. Co-owners of Macy's and his wife died. So, wonder who took over that. And survived Cosmo and Lucy Duff Gordon, landowners and fashion designers. Oh, they look a bit of a shady couple. He looks like Lord Lutein. And died Benjamin Guggenheim, a mining magnate. Wow, a Guggenheim, eh? Who knew? And Dorothy Gibson, an actress, she survived. Yeah, notice the good-looking women survived. Very selective and executive. Died George Dennick Wick. He's a steel magnate. See what I mean? She survived. Is it because she's a woman? Okay, at least. Oh yeah, women and children first. Yeah, died Charles Melville Hayes. He was another railroad executive. Helen Churchill Candy. She was an author. What's she write about? Oh, she was a feminist. Okay, she was a suffragette. Jet. Died Henry Harris. He was a Broadway producer. Okay, and he survived. Carl Byrne. He was a tennis player. He looked very modern. Maybe it's the glasses. And Jacques to a try. He was a mystery writer. Cool. Right. What's this? His most famous story was Problem with Cell 13. What's that about, I wonder? Just, sorry. So, he's a detective and he's on a ship. Sorry. Oh, it's a book. And what's it about? Oh, it's futuristic. Journey of a mystery writer, best known for short detective stories, The Thinking Machine, 1905. Thinking Machine. He dies. And he's wrote a book on a thinking machine. Edith Rosenbaum, a stylist. Okay, another woman survived. Archibald Butt. Yeah, he's definitely dead. I knew that before I even looked at fucking what it said he was dead. He just had it written all over him. Just had it come in. Okay, we're going to look at some pictures now of the Titanic in its beautifuln's. Make sure to subscribe, please. Like anything like that. Or share. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. So, I'm coming back now in a minute. Half time. British Flatterday special. 10KD. So yeah, white star line are really flashy. Now I've been docked in Belfast a couple of times. Once I was docked right next to the Harland and Wolff shipyard where they built the Titanic. I could literally look up my porthole and there were the cranes, exactly the same cranes that built the Titanic. Things meant. Look at the effort made. I know they've added the colour, but it gives you an idea of the luxury. And remember, this is like, you know, the early Edwardian period. And that's on the sides. I suppose they're pistons going in. And there she is. I noticed they haven't finished painting here. It seems to be rough. And yeah, maybe it's just rubs. Yeah, they never had fenders done. And they got windows right up to here. Must be for crew. That's the Olympic. That's not the Titanic. That's the Olympic. Okay, let's take a look at her. Okay. The Olympic looks exactly like the Titanic. Have a little look again. Okay. Okay. Let's keep an eye on that mast. There's not much in it, is there, really? But the windows come all the way up there. I wouldn't like to be in that cabin. I've been in a cabin down below when, you know, when carrying cargo below the, you know, when the plimsoll line's at level, and my portal was down below. So when I looked up my portal, there was fish going by. It was mega cool. I'd like my own little aquarium. Just don't open that portal, obviously everyone will die. So there's the news back in England. Titanic disaster, great loss of life. Read all about it. Twin sewers. Big doors, don't you think? The little people. And just the survivors coming back. She's had a harrowing story, and there's the news paparazzi. Want to know all about it. And they had a gym inside. I didn't know the. Look at the Mercator. Yeah, they had a flashy gym. And these are two survivors. They were picked up in Ireland. She looks like, you know, traumatized. The kid looks like can give a shit. Freak kid. But a nice, beautiful picture. And you're there on the deck. Nice added colour. I suppose you can only guess, can't you, what the colours are. And there she is before she goes. And the ridiculously big propellers. Look at this. These added people. Are they just spinning us a yarn? And these are the hideous boiler rooms. I guess all them are dead. And there's the crazy captain who apparently doesn't worry about icebergs, even though he's had a warning. Wants to get there as quick as possible, so it's full steam ahead. And doesn't want to break into the binoculars locker to have any watchmen out to see if there's any icebergs when he knows they're around. It's really weird. But I think it's all in the eye, or that eye, maybe that eye. Anyway, Captain Scuttlefuck. Crap. And a huge, well, it looks like a dynamo generator. Indeed. So that huge generator, early Edwardian, riding on the end of the camshaft maybe. Oh, look at this. It must have been absolutely beautiful, the Edwardian era. Such a recent time ago, we think we'd know more about it, wouldn't you? But we don't. We don't. And there's a swimming pool. Betting weather there, you know, splashes up there. And a radio operator. He's the one who sent the message out. We're going to sink. Everybody's going to die. And that's the Titanic there. So she got some scruffs there. And orange. They don't look yellow. There. Added. 2 survivors. Women and children first. Ah. I'm so happy they survived. They're around today as well. Well, some of them. Well, not really now. But 20 years ago they were. The wood inside. And domage. It's just amazing. It smelled nice. And there's the construction. Harland and Wolff shipyard. And there they are having tea. Tiffins. While they're playing violin. Yeah. Phoenician shells. Wow. The Victorians still got it going on. Or the Edwardians. Nice cup of tea. Anyway, so yeah, these turns up. You could get a load more people in this boat. They just know. They're just not even, you know, we're alright. We have a few quid. He's got a fez on. But yeah, all boats weren't packed up with people. So let's get sweet with bunkage. And oh, that's nice. Sit on there. Oh, they got electric lights. Oh, very modern for 1911. And wow. So it must have been a joy. Little Phoenicians, look. And over the door. Wow. Phoenician white line. It's ridiculous, isn't it? The size of it. And there's a nice green one. Beautiful. And I guess that's a cafe or restaurant. That doesn't look like it's for the upper classes. I may be wrong. And Captain Rostron. Mrs. Brown. Oh, there she is, Molly Brown. Oh yeah. She looks a bit spirited, a bit feisty. And what you win a cup for? Sweet fuck all. And they give you medals. Maybe, you know, maybe he was a superhero. Maybe I got that wrong. Maybe it's just film. So what we got here? She's leaving, and she has orange ones, and now she has 2 yellow ones. This is the Olympic, and this is the Titanic. Why build one when you can buy 2? Build 2. A bit like Earth. Why build one when you can buy 2? Okay. So I think that's in Southampton, I'm not actually sure. But yeah, I feel for sure insurance scam. And there's that gym. So what? You got a rowing machine. And he's got a cycle thing. And weightlifting. Interesting. And another suite. What they got with a fire? Probably electric. And there she is in Harland and Wolff. These cranes are still there today. You can see these cranes. I've seen them myself. Look at this. I'd like to see it from the beginning with the plates being put on and the superstructure. You just don't see it. And only in the Great Eastern pictures, there's only pencil or engravings of that stage. It's always later, like the thing's just finished. Because all that brass. Christ, I bet all that causes a magnetic field. The whole ship causes a magnetic field. On the compass itself, you have to have giant brass plates to basically equalise magnetism, otherwise it just spins around. Really, giant brass plates all around. There's a piston. Wow, now that is a piston. Whew. Imagine lifting that wheel on there, but that was a hard morning's work. And there's the survivors. They were lucky. And this was basically dragged into London Dock on a barge. It's a remake, not the actual Titanic funnel. But they thought it'd be a jolly to take it through the docks. She was a survivor. She said, "Oh, the lights were so pretty. It was the most beautiful thing I ever seen." That's what she said, apparently. And there's Molly. Feisty, bit of a troublemaker. But she rocks. Maybe. And there's the watch. They stopped when it went down. Maybe it was some other tech. And there's the only set of binoculars, because they locked them away and lost the key. It's fucking psyop. She has to be sunk. And in this case, did the captain go down with the ship? We thinketh not. So, wow, what's that one? Titanic Liverpool, okay. Port of origin, they call it, Liverpool. That's where she was registered. And that's where you go into. These are the middle classes, and the upper classes go above. So it's always a class system. And right on the bottom, they were dead. They locked the gates to keep them in. Look at this. See, I prefer all this style rather than them plasticky shooty things that stick you on ferries and planes these days. I want, you know, nice style, maybe some flowers. Why not? So they're lace market on the deck. So that's quite nice. Send some lace. And there he is. He's got a telescope. Okay? Captain. Because he knows, like, what's going to go on. He knows what's going to go down. So he's got a telescope. Try and find a pair of binoculars. Captain. And this is the first boat photograph turned up. Okay? And it was woefully unmanned. Or not enough people in there. Okay. Oh, just an interesting photo slipped in. Hotel site for sale in Las Vegas. It's not there in this period. Just I picked up some photos of that earlier. Sorry. Right, escape. More pictures. Now we're going to go to Russia. This is a cool little link. I can give you the link. You can study these yourself, but it's absolutely beautiful. So it's late 1800s Moscow. You get the Kremlin. Check that out, guys. We think this goes deep, 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 deep. Okay, but tech, onion domes, and it's beautiful. But everything outside is horse and cart. They dragged it all there in stone. And there's Moscow. Many photographs show not a person. Okay, I'm coming back now in a minute. So yeah, the lamppost, obviously. Why would you have this massive block with all of this Phoenician, no matter where you are, Jamaica, or on the Titanic, or in this case Russia? There's a little Phoenician fucker, which proving that are all in the same crowd together. The controllers are on the same gang. Well, politicians, they're just actors. They are just puppets. Okay, they don't call the shots. Okay, they're the ultimate controllers. And the imposters. So yeah, crazy lampposts. And out on the river, in the Schnee. And this is a, believe it or not, railway station. It's just, what? Tick-wa-tacked. Wicked nice electric tramage. What else we got? Russia got it going on. Yeah, because it's massive, is why. Britain's like really tiny. Russia's like really big. Yeah. The size of these things. Yeah, that looks like it's half bad. It's too top heavy. It looks like the rest is missing. It looks like the top of something else, is what it looks like. And the Kremlin goes deep because they're on apparently pretending nuclear bunkers or whatever, event bunkers. Look at this. Just crazy fortress with Lutein. And they had a flood. That's flood. That's quite deep. Which poses the question of why they have all these mud flood basements when places are prone to flood. You wouldn't do it. It makes no sense. It's silly. Silly. See? Yeah, we're going to have all these basements because of floods. Another Phoenician crazy ass building in Russia. Proving that no matter where you are, they all got them. Okay? Australia, South America, New York, London, no matter where. So check these out, guys. It's these tuning fork resonating energy transfer around poles, I think. Okay, so yeah, we've had an update on the Great Flat Earth British website. Okay, and it is fantastic. Check out these. I think just that same giant lamppost, isn't it? Why so big? Oh, it's quite busy at this stage. 1850s, there's not a soul home. And it's not that long after Napoleon's supposed to have traipsed in and they burnt the city down to the ground. Apparently. Or some of it. But obviously not. Oh, these are telegraphs. There's the wires there, look. Ah, nice. Sweet. Very colour. So I can give you that link, you can look at them at your own leisure. Okay. And smaller Russia, the only reason I'm skipping through these is because this is of Ukraine. Crimea. Excuse me. Crimea. And it's Sebastopol, etc. And all they show is an Asian culture and bunkers. Bunkers. Okay, I will show you now. Bunkers. So it's all bunkers in Crimea. And I've looked into this before. Crimea and Inkerman Pass. Full of statues or world statues. Okay. And it gives you mappage, but these giant megalithic bunkers, which they look like they've just discovered, and they're all around the coast in the Crimea, and they're antiquity. Look at that alien face dude, which is a giant boss. He's got tech, faceless knight, sort of empty knight thing going on, and everyone's like paying homage to a bas relief in this area. Or Phoenicians. Early settling Phoenicians, or early, well, I don't think settling is the word, is it? Infiltration. Subversion. Okay, and the artifacts you can mag up. You can actually, right click and download each image separately. Look at that castle all mud flooded. And beautiful antiquity. It comes up to some of their clothes as well. There's more bunkers. Check all this out. Some of it is in Turkey as well. And some more bas reliefs. In this case, a mosaic and an underground bunker. Look at the decoration in that place. It's also a Coptic cave. And just the remnants of the old world. You can translate, everything's translatable, and there's descriptions below the video, the book as well. So look at this. And what's the point in all of this? Door frameage, and it's all underground, and all of this as well. Event bunkers here too. Event bunkers. People living in there for survive events. Bet it was high up. Oil burners. You'd need them. You won't have an electric in your cave system. Oh, and here they are again. How many times do we see this? This one's full of skeletons, and he's drawing it. I guess they didn't fare very well. Okay, so interesting nevertheless. We're moving on because I've got a lot to get through. I'm coming back for a minute. Okay, I'm coming back. Okay, I have time. I'm knackered. I talk a lot. Don't I? Right, no. This got sent to me, very epic, okay, by my friend Albino Ganapini, okay, who wrote a book about Flat Earth. I showed you a couple of weeks ago, but this one, okay, The Fastest Pen in the Rest, about it's a biography about Bill Casing, is absolutely mind-blowing. It's just overwhelming that moon landings is just nutty stuff, actually. And Liedtke, the Holy Grail of Flat Earth, as well, which we could talk about a little bit later. So, I have time. Can't have too long a vlog. What's the time? 20 to 7. Cool. So, you happy? Cool. Got a happy hat on? Cool. So, like I said, things are going to get super fantastic very soon. As I said, this thing is going to be like new levels, and everything is just falling into place in a very epic way. So let's have a little visit from entertainment zone. King Fun, who's got a bit of a problem, as you know, ongoing with Mrs. Queen. She's alright. She's alright. She's just out all the time. And in this case, she's been down to the Royal Spa to buy a Royal Lottery ticket, because it's Saturday night, you see. She's been ages, so he suspects that she's dived in a pub and quick couple of halves. Okay, she's the Queen after all, and the Queen is a Cockney, so Cockney German. So here's a King Fun. Okay, he's a really happy king. Okay, okay, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm so happy. I like him. I think he's very endearing, don't you? Yeah. Well, what do you think of Mrs. Fun? She doing your head in? Yeah. You waiting for her to come back? Why? It's Saturday night. I see. Okay, here she comes anyway. Da-di-da-di-da-di-da. Oh, that freaking Mabel in the queue. She don't shut the fuck up ever. I got my lottery ticket. I think I'm gonna win. Oh, I am Liz. I am. Oh, get off, you dirty old man. Get off. It's Saturday night, Mum, I promise. No, you're not, you dirty old man. Fuck off. I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to read a book. Bye. They live so happily. They must be married. That's what it is. So yeah, next week, or next show this week, we're going to be talking about something that's really mind-blowing, and it's like literally the death of many people in events. Okay guys, it is, I mean, millions in the 1500s, and if we can prove this through translations, that is going to be absolutely epic. Okay guys, that's coming this week, and more as well, much more this as well, and other stuff that I've been working on, which is just incredible. Okay, and what else was there? Fucking hell. Okay, right, you okay? Make sure to subscribe. It's 10k day, guys. It's 10k day. 10k day. It's 10k day, guys. 10k day, mates. Okay, make sure to subscribe. Do things like share and other stuff, whatever they do on YouTube here these days. You know, YouTube generally sucks. Okay, they're breaking everything. Right. Plus, they're just really weird. They keep just saying stupid like emails to me that make no fucking sense, and they're ignoring everything I say. So what are you looking at here? Somebody sent me a link, 314 images, and they're like San Francisco, Russian Hill when it was mud flooded, 1854, and here as well, and it got the events as well, San Francisco, and it's just endless juicy pictures of San Francisco. Take a look now. Excuse me. Let's have a look at that one. The Russian Hill, 1855. Oh, old churches already mud flooded. They all look buried, and everything's in mud. Looks like Tomsk. Let's have a look at that one. Mud. Is that snow? Did you know California had a big snowstorm in the past? Yeah, I was reading about it the other day. Huge snowstorm in late 1800s. I think it might be on here somewhere. I think they had a snowstorm in California. So let's have a look. There's the events. The place on fire. Wow, this is so juicy. The call center. See if I can find that. Oh, there's the tents. The FEMA camps. Excuse me. And then them boxes we've seen. If you watched my video on San Francisco a little while ago, you've seen all these boxes in the streets. Some of you might remember. We were wondering what they were all about. They were safes. Yeah, there's a photograph. There it is, there. Okay, he's in Montgomery Street near Sacramento, and he's banging open a safe. So that's exactly the boxes we were seeing. They were all safes. They were all lying all over the street. It's like the biggest raid in history, isn't it? So yeah, really good resource this is, guys. Really happy with this find. And you get these as well, these like anomalous, amazing mudflood buildings out in the middle of a grassy field with just grass paths leading up to them that really don't fit. That's Berkeley. Okay, so yeah, they do show you California deep in snow. Oh, there it is. Really amazing. So, snowstorm in California, 1882. Sunday the 31st. California, guys. Who knew? I don't know. So that's a brilliant link. Okay, we move on. Expositions, definitely part of the narrative after all of these events, which we think of we suspect control attack. You get the city taken out by a tsunami, giant earthquake, new people come in, and then they bring in these expositions. And it's the same cyclical thing, all of these cities are destroyed. Were you aware that Hiroshima had an exposition, guys, in 1929? So we know this MO and this cyclical, how these events are working. So remember, city gets destroyed, our old world gets taken out, and then they have an exposition. Hiroshima got destroyed. 1929, they bring, so how many years before? 20 years before they have an exposition, okay, and then it's destroyed, okay. 25 years later, actually, the whole thing's destroyed. So they had this architecture there, guys, and it was the Showa Industrial Exposition, and they had 1 to 4 million visitors. So exposition, city's destroyed, same cycle every time. Now we're going to go up to images of the day soon, because this is going to be a little bit of a long video and people are complaining. This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my whole life, and I've seen some stupid shit, guys. I've done a lot of it myself, but excuse me. Well, I found you, right? Just randomly come up, so I thought I'd watch, and I thought, well, that's fucking ridiculous. Now bear this in mind, guys, right? Flat earther. This is all bullshit, and I'll show you how much bullshit this is now, right, guys? This is in water. This is all screenage. It's a really big tank, okay? Everything behaves like it would in water. Now what the score is this astronaut, okay, who's bobbing around in water as ash drops and everything else, has dropped a bag. Now this is a miracle bag, because not only does it not fall away to Earth, okay, at all, it stays like 30-40 foot away for the whole duration of the video, but it manages to keep up momentum and falling away at 17,500 miles an hour with the ISS fake space station. Think about that. So he's dropped this and it hovers below them. Actually, it moves exactly like it would if it was in water. So let's take a look. So he's a stupid shit. He's dropped a bag, apparently. But is this how things would behave in water? Because it's supposed to be in a vacuum. Things are just like watery. Like, there's waves there. Even this. So he's dropped that. So it's going to fall to Earth. It's going to burn up, because things burn up on re-entry, guys. Okay? Okay? They must have Super GoPro, because you've got like a little tiny bit of land here. It must be 5 miles square or something. Yet you see the whole ball. It's a tiny little world. That's Super GoPro. So it behaves like it's in water. Watch the strop. Okay? It's all in water. Look at all the stars. Look at the 30-odd thousand satellites. They're all around the Earth. Can you see them all? No, you can't, because they're not fucking there. No. Let's move on. So, like, I guess, like, minutes later, I suppose, 2 minutes later, let's see where the bag is. Oh, it's moved on a bit. But still keeping up with the ISS falling away from Earth at 17,500 miles an hour. So what we're looking at here, essentially, guys, is a 17,500 miles an hour carrier bag. That rocks. Yeah? Yeah. So let's have a little minute or two on, see if it actually, fucks off a little bit. Because it's supposed to be falling towards Earth, gravity stuff. So no, it's not going to go away. It's an anomalous carrier. Oh, it's quite cute the way it wants to stay with the ISS, and it just follows. Yeah? So no, it hasn't fucked off. It's not really falling away, and it's keeping up with the ISS, which is apparently doing 17,500 miles an hour, falling away from Earth in geosynchronous orbit. Or so they say. Okay. Now let's move on. And there are 30,000 or whatever satellites as well. All of it. It's just all nutty. So yeah, it hasn't managed to fuck off even by the end of the video. It's still there. It's a little bit further away, but it's a big pool, you know. But yeah, it's just acting like it's floating. You know, 6 minutes later, the thing hasn't fucked off at all. In fact, it's coming back. It's coming back. It gets a bit closer. Yeah. So yeah, I think this might be like they say, I'm telling you the whole of Korea. So I gather this is India. No, there's not. There's no. Oh no. No, this might be North America. No, it can't be. It's either Florida Panhandle. No, it can't be. Who knows? They make it all up. So yeah, they never fucked off. And it's in the water. They had gone, it went away a little bit more. It's a big tank. But it's still keeping up at 79,000 miles an hour. It is super carrier bag. Stupid. Anyway, Bex, awesome Bex, love Bex, right? Rebecca done an update. And she's doing some more over the weekend. To our super fantastic FEB Mindblow website. Okay, and she's really juiced it up. It's so fucking epic. I love it. It's fantastic. Anyway, so if you there's a few people in my comments saying whatever is going on here, it seems really interesting. I'm very interested. Please can you tell me more? Now the score is, guys, is I had another channel and it had 1100 videos on it, and about 500 of them were concerning this subject. We have covered it all of what we know, and this is quite a way in, so it's quite a bit to learn. But essentially, basically, the Earth's flat and it's a reset system. The controllers reset it and then bring in new populations, etc. Probably a holographic principle to our reality, because it's the nature of the power of attraction, if you like, or placebo effect, or the power of us, the creators. Which can mould or this malleable realm which we find ourselves in, which is really malleable compared to others. Supernatural by nature, I can tell you all along. So, Mindful Mudflood. Okay, I've got a shop. You can buy Flat Earth British things. Not this one, though, because that was a special one somebody sent for me. So we got updated. Let's have a look. This is brilliant. Check this out. They're rowing out there. Here in the urban jungle, you can hear the clucking of the Cracodocious Cluckaducious. Now there you go, Antiquitech. So now, shouty people. Oh, they're all gone nutty. So, like I said, Antiquitech, Antiquitent is now a thing. It's in reality and it's real, because it is real. Look, guys, yeah. People killing one another. It happens all the time. Wire up the tent. Take glamping to a new level. Sorry, people are just killing one another outside. This is just a normal thing. It's a normal thing. I have to get out of this place. Anyway. Antiquitech. Aquatech. Okay, we talk about Aquatech. Structured water. Magnetized water. Vortex water. Water is everything. They're taking the water out of water and they're dehydrating your ass and killing you. Technasmia. That's how everyone dies. They all go wrinkly and shrivel up like a prune because of the water. See how I said prune? Technasmia. It's kicking right the fuck off outside, guys. I'm very embarrassed right now. It's not always like this. Miasma. Okay, that's a real thing. Phoenicify, which is when they come in and, you know, adorn their stuff like lions and flowers. Happy hats, okay, which is really, really epic. Look at me smiling. Bunko booths, okay, which are, in my mind, highly important. Okay, they tell us teleportation stations. Yeah. Bathrooms or a film drop. Now they could be a film drop, I suppose, but I think they probably are teleportation. I like that. Bunker booths on a stick, you get them too, okay. And which we talk about, which is actually a massive finger point to this holographic principle of this reality, is in this book, The Holy Grail of the Flat Earth, and she's linked it up, okay. So that's the Tesla code, or Rodin's vortex math, which is crazy mind-blowing as fuck. Excuse me. Okay, there's a little bit of, I hate doing it. Hate accepting bloody cookies. Vortex-based math transcends our myopic quantitative understanding for the way numbers operate in our holographic universe. Numbers are not just mere quantities. Each has its own unique quantity, archetype, and behaviour. 369, the goose drank wine, the monkey chewed tobacco on the street, Caroline, the line broke, the monkey got choked, and they all went together in a little room, both clap hands, stamp your feet. So yeah, it's mind blowing. Reads all about it. Reads all about it. In here? Okay. Just a mindfuck. Anyway, did I just lose my page? No. And we look into what else we got on here for today. Rodian's coil. Okay, which is another mind blast. Free energy. Okay, it's Tesla tech, if you want to call it that. Scepter. Orbs. Cymatics. Weather control. Okay, resonators. Okay, Vajras. Taurus. Okay, knobbly bit. Wobbly bit. Plasma. Phonies. Faceless Knights. Homunculus. Okay, Strooks. Controllers. Chimeras. Weirdy guns, get a lot of them in the internet world. Gorgons, Chedmanuskis, they're a thing. Stupors, vitrification, and liquefaction. All in the realm of flight of Britishness. Fleur-de-lis, pine cones, and snakeage, or the serpent. It's a waveform. My Facebook is like brilliant. I spend quite a bit of time daily on my Facebook because it is really, really cool. And loads going on. You can join my bugger. Ow, ow. Something just died in my brain. You can join my Facebook. This is that advert I put up this week. Might watch that now actually because it's super fantastic. What people are saying now. Feedback on the book has been mind blowing. Every single thing. I haven't had any complaints. Not realistic ones. It's just been wow. The whole thing. So what Matt has found is earth-shattering and mind-blowing. Martin's work will have you questioning everything you thought you knew. Martin is leading light who puts his neck on the line for truth. I'm ordered the book because I just eaten it, so I did. From this site and Facebook and all the other things that I have. Beauty books, donations, Patreon. I got about 30 odd patrons. I know I don't mention much, but I'm very, very grateful. I'm supposed to spend time on my tiers and stuff, but I don't find time doing think tankage things to do much at all, really. Not even sleep much. Right, some pics of the day. This is the first official picture. Unconfirmed sources. A picture of water, unconfirmed sources, on Mars. So I think that's a reality. There's water on Mars. A sub sent me in, was looking at the stars, and on the website of the stars, Amazon were linking up my bookage, and twice this has happened. So this is what this book is, the fastest pen in the West. Okay, here's Albino, top dude, sent me a book signed. Really happy about that. Okay, and about this. Basically, this whistleblower, amazing character. He just absolutely reminds me of the truthers of these days. He's got that sort of personality. Your casing. And the bullshit that is Nasaruni. Chrysanthemums in my window yesterday when it was sunny. So. And I went in Pizza Hut the other day. Fuck no, I never went in Pizza Hut. I wasn't eating that shit all. Domino's. I don't eat there very often. I know it's fan foods, but I was starving. I couldn't be bothered cooking. I was busy. But look what I got up on the board. Flat British. My food's ready. No. 10 minutes I had to wait outside. He's busy. So those pics of the last video. Okay. Keep doing that. Happy Flatterday, by the way. Now we got pics of the day. Okay. Oh, I forgot the Port Royal pictures. That's awesome. Port Royal. So it's underwater. I should have done these at the beginning of the vlog, but it doesn't matter. And it's Greco-Roman columns. If you can see this, they're columns, like what you see in Rome or Greece or what have you. And this is under the sea. And they say, and this is an artist depiction, but that's bullshit, because you see all wooden buildings, which is not what the descriptions in that book says. It says they were multi-storey stone and brick, and the evidence of Greco-Roman columns, stone brick floors, flagged floors. And there's more closer to the time. I'm not sure what date there is, but it's depicted in the 1692 event. So big houses, massive star fort which got inundated, and everything else fell in the sea. Liquefaction. And this is some of the antiquity you can find underneath. Got a lot of divers going down there. Pirate City, but that's a fictitious thing, but they do diving trips down there, etc. Port Royal star fortage from 1702, so it's got repairs by then after the event. 1702, that one's still there, and there's a grid pattern as well, isn't there? And yeah, okay. And this is the 19 I believe 09 event, is it? 1909. Well, obviously it's not 1692 because they never had photographs, they tell us. So that's the later one. They had a terrible earthquake. And that's what they, you know, artist impression. English churches. Here it is again, excuse me. And mosaic floors, just like you find in Rome or Greece, or the antique world. Oh dear, 666. XC guns. And this is the railway station in Kingston. Notice anything? Blocked up windows, Greco-Roman columns. And that was the later event, which is the fire as well that it had. And that's inside the Star Fort today. It's just a ruin. And a letter concerning Port Royal. You want to read that? I don't. And underneath Port Royal. The wickedest city on earth. Or so they say. And they have martial law by the look of it. Soldiers, but Lutein. But look at this architecture for, you know, for Jamaica, Port Royal Street. And there's the spit today. I suppose it came out to here. You get the map in a minute. And there's a little bits left. Starfoots. I suppose that's the existence of the shape. But mostly gone. And that's a model of said star fortage of Port Royal. And underneath, lions, Venetians, double pillars, ironwork, wrought ironwork. Look at this. And there it is, or was. Crazy place to put a port. And giant bell and a church. So I bet that bell was ringing that day. Whew. Older map. And there you are, you can visit that. And you got 1888 on it. And it's already liquefied. So I guess that was that later earthquake. You had liquefaction. Crazy, crazy. And all of this going on. And the Phoenician Lions again. Oh, that's Lion City in China, that one. Do forgive me. Mixed it up in the download. And there's that Star Fort. Just have a little look. And there's another Star Fort half. One there and one there. So I've never seen that one. Is that one there? Yes. And one there. Alright. The whole thing's Star Forted out. Wow. Okay. Neptune Lion side. Neptune Lion side. Well, it's got that ball. What that lamppost does, or that, excuse me, that lighthouse. Except for lighthouse, it says Tower. Tower Street, just a tower. Staff footage. And it is. Okay. Oh, there it was. The Struth Port Royal Harbour, riding in the centre. So what a fucking crazy place to stick a city. And that's how much is lost below the sea. Quite a bit. I find that unusual. This is like all these statues, they're Phoenicians, etc. And there's a lot of ironwork. I don't know if this is a water fountain, but it seems to have rivets in it. Is this a ship? It looks like a horn. I think it might be a ship. Steel ship. Liquefaction. Again. The giddy house. It makes you giddy when you go in it. And an artist impression. Starfort look like getting breached. Okay. And that's below. So what's that? Scuba divers shipwreck. So I guess that's more modern because it's got steel cleats. No, images of the day because I'm running out of steam. So yeah, what if? So this is apparently. What was it? I can't even remember. Basically it's New York, I think, but they're digging out all of the mud here, and this was like a giant staircase in Brooklyn side. This is in Brooklyn that went down, but it's like just up there, and all of this is mud, and it's just this retainer. All the mud just come in later. Weird. Space, the final place they'll never ever go. So Neil Armstrong's boots coming back from the moonage were like that. But on the moon, they're like his footprints are like that. And Buzz had a different set as well. He had Nikes, he had Adidas. So amazing. What's so amazing about this room is it's not a room. It is a stage set, because there's where the orchestra goes. So they brought everything on and built that for that stage set. So I don't know. It's just a really weird fireplace. Old. So I can't give a destination. I just thought this was interesting. This line here. Okay, I think a lot of these in New York, but they're all mud flooded. California Street, San Francisco, mud, deep mud flooders. Okay. What about that one? She's a beaut. Just see the tops of their windows, giant doors, temple upon temple upon temple. So almost as if, you know, when the, you know, if they expect the floods to come in that high, they can come along their boats and gondolas, and then there's an entrance going in. This will be the main entrance then. And then if there's a deeper flood up to there, they'd have a secondary entrance. It's just, and everything's just disproportionate and top heavy, like the whole thing's just going to fall over. Always, always. Crazy. And this one was a theatre in Russia. These theatres worldwide are anomalous. They're older. They say they're Victorian, but you can see that they're just far more ancient and mud flooded. Bunker booths out in the middle of nowhere. And it's got slats in it, like it's to do with electricity. Or it's a substation. So, bunker booths. California. Which we talk about the similarities between San Francisco, Boston Fire 1871, Chicago Fire, Peshtiga event. I could just go on and on and on. Port Royal as well, that got torched. Led Zeppelin cover, physical graffiti with all them trippy faces. Yeah, the building hasn't changed today. That's it today. It's got all these Phoenician things. And I remember them when I was a kid looking at the album cover thinking, oh, they're really horrible, spooky looking. But yeah, they should have a cafe underneath called Physical Graffiti, blasting like Zepp, shouldn't they? No. So yeah, one of my subscribers, I like what she got in the background, sent me, thank you so much, I've got about 20 of these. People have send your photographs in of your delivery of Holy Grail Flat Earth. Now, this building burnt down on her in the week, and it was I think on the weekend in London, in Camden Town. I think it's Coco's nightclub. All it managed to do was remove the great Tatarian domed roof from the top. This is it, Camden Theatre. So it's gutted, and the roof's gone. Big old Tatarian building. Now, something deeply wrong with the California shots, isn't there? I got endless videos of this stuff, and it is just screaming something else. There it is. Later, Camden Hippodrome. Big Phoenician building. Portals. Copper dome roof. Gone. And there's another one. Thank you, Alex. This one's basically somebody else who's sent in their photograph. Alex, thank you so much. I love the painting. Watercolour, by the way. So, somebody else who was happy to receive this sticking out the cliff face. Is it a natural feature, or is it like a gangway to go onto some greater vessel, or something that's hovering there maybe? They look really, because there's a wall there, you see, and this looks wally, and this looks like it got a straight edge and a right angle also here. So I think there was more going on with that, definitely. So I don't know, but he's a ramhead. It's like, I love you, and now he got like a goat pumping the back of his head. Oh, you got smelly fishy feet, that's what that means. So you get a lot of this happening in the Middle Ages. Apparently they got a thing for strange meat. Oh, it's a woman. Okay, so they chop it up, okay, for strange meat cafe. And exoskeletons as well. They are around in the Middle Ages. Apparently, put them on, makes you super strong. Okay, so don't think for a second, yeah, that Terminator is anything special. Okay, so a strange Phoenician park in the past. Jean Dios Gonzalez. It's a naked Phoenician, but beautiful quality. Look at this. Phoenician towery things in the middle of a muddy nowhere. So it might be a castle. Portalage. So this is Notre Dame. That's like added in the 1800s. Yeah, they got a medieval setting, but I wasn't there then. You can track the photograph of this being built 1800s. Yeah, there it is on a photograph, Middle Ages. And you got a portal ripping open, and you got a light coming through the hand, and all the demons. Although they seem to be holding up the firmament, I don't know. But anyway, demons have ripped through the portal, let loose in this place. Baseball bat them into oblivion. And ancient wallage. Got that massive stone. Ooh. So, an allegorical EM tech analogy. So as wings open, active charge, you get the zap and the old measuring or the weighing, excuse me, the judgment. So there's me, British. Statues. Not only is it the flawlessness nature of such item, it is the whole thing. This is marble, but it's made into a sheet so thin the light passes through it. How do you get stone so thin that you get light to pass through it? But the way the light catches that is just beautiful. Don't know how they do it. It's just immense talent. I'm unearthing the railway lines. Okay, when they got buried after a mud flood, because they were there in the old world. Because they're showing you, yeah. So the giants that hold up that roof in St. Petersburg, are they actually holding the roof up, or were they actually laying down? They look like they're pretty relaxed when laying down, don't they? When you look at them the other way around. If you don't know, look about 5 videos ago, you can see it on a thumbnail for St. Petersburg. So why build your house on top of that? Well, there's water here. It looks like a floodplain. So I'd say that, like they do when they're building their buildings I showed you earlier, they think of floodwaters and they build them up high. How'd you get to it? Don't know. apparent suns, parabolics, and always this mirror reflecting in some sort of projection, a projected reality, maybe. But things are definitely showing to us, and the puzzle pieces just fall in rapid concession, as I said. So look at this, some alchemy going on, fasces always prominent in picture, Venetian gardens, and the same old allegorical, Jesuitical items. So what we got going on here? Hang on a minute. Who's stabbing a baby? Is it the King Age? So he's got his hand there, the King Age, and the Knight's maybe holding his hand. I don't know. So where's the other baby down there? Oh. You are? I don't know. He looks happy. I don't know what's going on. This is such a strange thing. What about that? Was this soft? And people were just pushing their hands in at some stage? In Utah. What about that floor? It just seems to be on a riverbed, but it's older civilization. Obviously, it's not natural formation. So, what could it be? Ponder. Ugh. So obviously he can't see through them eyes, because he would just fucking walk into everything and last 2 seconds on the battlefield. So I guess he's looking through those 2 little slits, which he wouldn't last 2 seconds and couldn't see anything on the battlefield. So, unless he's looking through this bit and he's only really little. Unless he's a worm and he just looks through this bit. How'd you breathe? I'm very good. Wow, that's fucking... If that ran at me, though, I'd probably be more inclined to be laughing than scared. Oh, that's a lady in Las Vegas. I downloaded it because it's a lady in Las Vegas. State of war, more allegory. So I guess this is the Islamic world. Wings open, eating a Frisian, active fash, zap zap. I guess the bear might be Russia. What's that? Organisation of Egypt, triumph of Napoleon Bonaparte. So it's the Battle of the Nile. Okay. And this one is the Valley in the Shadow of Death. I shall have no fear, because I will have my staff beside me, and I will taser their ass if they come close. Look. The Vatican are zapping people with laser beams. How can they do such things? With plasma. Spanish breed. Pure royal Spanish breed, purple. So, active charge. You'll never see it with his wings closed. So Russia is chained onto Napoleon. Yeah, the Russian bear, I get that. So, Leo Britannicus. So we're the lion. And the Spanish. So we're all having a go at Napoleon. Well, seems it's all allegory for high tech, though. Something's happened there, hasn't it? All looks like it's been underwater, and the water's gone. All of it, even this. And I would say that 50% more of that building, because its foundation as well, is underground. This is half the pillar. It's twice that height. Easy. All of that building is. More of this park. Where is it? It is Medina. And you get Poseidon. And he's giving a sea creature more aquatic strangeness. Sorry, I don't know what that is. Ooh. So he's aquatic because he got like fins. So I guess he's like a Phoenician, a merman with boobs and fins to get him around in the water. But he's got like horns and devils. So he's bloke, woman, fish thing. So that's why they're all like ball worshippers and into all this strangeness because of these Phoenicians. No. Just going out to pick up pieces of their bodies in the field that drop from the sky all the time. Oh, look. A torso. She doesn't seem too bothered. Does she? She's a queen as well. She's got a hat on. Now, I put this on my community page. Guesses. Now, somebody said could be a flamethrower's breathing apparatus for advanced flamethrowerage, or a diving helmet. I don't know. It looks a bit leaky. Gas. I don't know. What about these holes at the top? It's a space helmet. It's NASA's space helmet, authorized by NASA in 1911. So what do you think it is, guys? It's 2 inlets. Difficult to say. More Las Vegas. I don't know. I was just researching Las Vegas. Maybe I'll do something about it in another period of time. It's all about San Francisco and yo boys. And if you do an anagram of old boys, that's quite interesting. Do an anagram of that, see what you come up with. Old Boys Network. Anyway, peace and love. Okay, fucking epic. So yeah, resets. That's what we're looking into. Port Royal, 1692, taken out by giant tsunami, earthquake, liquefaction. Entire city goes under the sea, and you can see it today. I just showed you. And we looked into the Titanic, maybe the Olympic, but there was a lot of famous people on it and some beautiful pictures of what it looked like inside for interest. Russia and pics of the day. Okay, happy. And my website, which is fucking fantastic. Great Earth, Flat Earth British drop, think tank drop you can get on there as well. I've had some new uploads. So, bye. Say bye, King. Say bye. So we'll be back in a week, okay, for more absolutely ballistic epicness. Okay? Super fantastic stuff. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, you happy? Was you good? What? What, King Fun? Yeah, it was alright, man. Yeah, that's better. He's got a bit of fucking attitude, this King. I have to, evaluate our relationship at some stage. Anyway, be good. And I'll be back soon. Peace and love.